Okay, welcome back to Exehaven Harbour. Excuse my voice, I have quite a heavy cold or even a touch of flu, not quite sure. So this is a bit of a bonus day really, because this is Tuesday and I normally play golf Tuesday and I don't feel well enough to go and play golf, and that is a very, very rare event. So anyway, what I thought I'd do to try and take my mind off it is start working on how to do the curved platform. Now I'm trying to keep it as simple as I possibly can, and I don't know whether you can see, it might be just on the other side of the track there, but I have already used one of the coaches, a Mark 1 coach, and I've basically attached the pen to the side and then we've drawn the curve of the track down there. I was wondering whether to do the middle of the carriage as well. I don't know whether you can see that from there. Let's move that back up a little bit. Yep. So this side, but I'm not sure. I think that gives us roughly the same sort of line, and I have looked at it already. So I'm going to go with that. I'm only going to do this one platform first. I'm not going to fiddle about and do the other. Believe it or not, this has taken me the best part of sort of 3/4 of an hour to get that just about right. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take it indoors and then I'm going to get the cardboard that I'm going to use and then see if I can cut this template out. Okay, so I'll be back to you. Probably the next time I'll see you is whether it's worked or whether it's been an utter disaster. I have looked at a couple of things on YouTube, and I've seen similar things to this, so I think it's going to work. I can't see any reason why it shouldn't. I'll just make the template out of this. I've got to cut that out first, that curve, and then we'll cut it out of the goal. Right, so here we are. The blue line has got to be cut into the shape of the platform. So that's my next task, and that's what I'm going to do now. So all I'll be doing is taking one of my knives and just very slowly cutting along there to get the right kind of shape. So fingers crossed it's all going to go well. Right, okay, so I've got my card, got the shape of the platform cut. All I'm going to do now is just draw a pencil line down there, get it as precise as I can. Where it finishes here, I'm not sure that you can see that in the shot. I've got it stuck to the floor. Let me see if I can move that back a little bit. Apologies for that. But yeah, we run out of card there, so I'll mark that sheet. Don't really need it marked because I can see where it is. And then we'll move that over and get the rest of the platform in there. Hopefully that's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, he says. Be back to you in a bit. Right, okay, so there we go. That is platform 2. That's been cut out now. Wasn't too bad. I had to basically cut it freehand. Obviously, you get the line and then you just follow it with the knife, and it has come out pretty good. Perhaps I should have showed it, but I have just taken it out to the cabin and laid it next to the track, and it does all fit. So all it leaves for me to do now is cut out some strips of platform edging, which I'll do in a minute, and I'll call it for the day, because I'm feeling a bit rough again now. And what I do for the platform edging, I cut 1 centimetre strips. Now this card is almost 2 millimetres thick, and that gives me about 12 millimetres in height, and that's not too bad for Engage platform height. So I've made a couple of platforms already that they were sort of test things really, but that worked out quite well. So I'm going to stick with that, and then I'm going to make a decision on whether to use. I've got some Southeast fine cast sort of plasticard brick really, English bond, or I've got some of their large stone, and do quite like it actually. It's the Metcalfe brick, not the large stone, but the brick. And when that's weathered up, that brick looks pretty good. So I'm in an R-in at the moment. I've got a choice of 3. I'm edging towards the southeast fine scale brick, plastic hard stuff, because then I'll paint it up and then I can get the sort of cement lines in it, and then I can weather it and it'll look the business, but we'll see. So anyway, I'll leave it there and I'll be back to you shortly. Right, okay, so I've been doing some experimenting and with the brick for the platform edging. Now we'll start off with the Metcalfe brick. It's the red brick. I'm not sure if you can see that well. So if I can zoom in. Oh, there we go. It's not too bad. Now I've got to say, I love it. Like I say, I've done it on another platform that I built before as a practice, and it's been weathered up, and it has been concrete dust and the black soot has been used on both examples. You'll see the other one in a minute. And yeah, I mean, it looked great. And, you know, I've just decided, though, to go with this. And this is the Southeast Fine Scale Engage English brick. Now, what I've done here, this is just like white plastic sheet with brick embossed on it. So I painted it, and I used burnt sienna, burnt umber, ochre yellow, deep red and orange. And the colour is pretty good. I was pretty pleased with that. And then I've used the Woodland Scenics concrete paint, very watered down to get the mortar lines in the brick. And then I have used the same weathering powders, the WWS weathering powders, concrete dust and black soot. I've gone really heavy here and there with the black soot at the bottom, just so that I could see what it was like. And the rest of it has had a coating of concrete dust and black soot as you get higher, but not quite so heavy as down here. I would imagine parts of the platform edging would be pretty dirty anyway, especially if there's plenty of steam engines running through. So I've made my decision. I'm going to go for this, the embossed brick. I enjoyed painting it up. I enjoyed making it look like it is. How well that's really coming out now, it's difficult to tell. But you can't really get a shot of that. I think we're getting the shadow. Oh, that's not too bad there. So yes, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm in really close second, and I probably may use that on another station elsewhere at some other point, because I've got plenty of that to use up as well. So so that's what I'll be doing next, is cutting out loads of lengths of plastic brick sheet and then painting it with my fabulous mixture of paints. Okay, I'll come back to you in a while. Right, so after 3 days of being laid up with horrendous flu, I'm back and up and doing a bit of modelling. Only just sort of feel like it today, but it's something to do rather than just laying around feeling sorry for myself and feeling very rough. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit still. But anyway, moving on from that. Seems like I'm on the mend. So, platform edging, I've cut that out this morning out of the Southeast Fine Scale imprinted sheet, and got to order some more of that, so I'll be on to Squires later on today. Okay, so that colour, which is all mixed up in there, is made up, I think I mentioned it in the last segment, it's burnt sienna, burnt umber, ochre yellow, deep red and an orange, and that is how it is in its full glory. That's it's had 2 coats, and it still gives it a little bit of variance of colour, even with 2 coats. There are little bits that are still a little bit, because the actual sheeting is white, and there's still little bits of, you know, sort of faded white, if you like, that's left, but that's how you want it to look. Now the next stage, once this has dried, is to give it a really wet, thin coat of the old, well, I use the Woodland Scenics concrete, and I'll come back to you once I've done that. But yeah, it's been a pleasant half an hour or so, or painting them up and cutting them out. So I'll be back to you shortly. Okay, so platform construction has begun, and this is part of the end of the platform, obviously the ramp. I'm going to wait for that to set up. We've got that on a nice curve going up there, and once that's all set up, then I'll gently bend the platform and stick it to the ramp section of the platform wall. So yeah, that's quite good. I've allowed 2mm along that there, so that there's a slight overhang, and of course when I put the actual walling on, which is sort of drying over here, once we put that on the sides, and then there will be another slither towards the top. There's often, you'll see at the top side of the platform, there's another little piece, a little ledge piece that sticks out of brick. That'll go on there as well. So the 2mm overhang will probably become 1mm as such, and the platform's coming together. There will also be sections of card that will go along there as supports. It's difficult to put them in when it's on a curve, but that seems to be holding nicely. So we'll give that a good half an hour or so. Cup of tea, and then I can slowly bend the ramp section into shape. Right, okay, so the first attempt at platform 2 has failed. It's not far out, I've got to say that, but it's not quite right, and the part of the reason, this past week I've been laid up with flu, and I've sort of made it in between me feeling okay, but I haven't come out into the cabin to check on the progress. So I'm a little bit disappointed because it is so close, but it's nowhere near close enough, if you know what I mean. It's on the mark, and I've got to say it's quite a good platform, nice and sturdy construction. But what we're doing, we're on Mark 2 now, which is perhaps the way I should have done it in the first place. And I've used these paper sheets and I've just traced the edge, whereas before I used the coach. And what I intend to do this time is actually build it like this, because that is the edge of the cork, and where this platform edged up against there, it was actually, some of it was too near I'd cut it a bit wrong, to be honest. It was quite a nice curve, but it's cut a bit wrong. So I think that's the bottom line. So we'll leave that there, and I'll come back to you in a few days' time when I've made another platform. Right, okay, so a little update. I'm a week behind because I was laid up, as I probably said in the last segment, with flu for a whole week, and I didn't get nothing done. So the chances are the video is going to be late this month rather than my every 2 weeks. It's more than likely going to be 2.5 weeks. But anyway, platform 2 has been redone because the first one didn't quite fit right, but this one does. I've just come back from the cabin, made some cuts inside of the platforms for odd little bits and pieces like wires that run through there, and the edges of points and so on. But that does fit together quite nicely. So the next stage is to put that platform together as one piece. I haven't done any more on that. Like I say, I wasn't well, but I'm actually planning the station area with what will fit in terms of like the building and how it's all going to work out. Once I've done that, I can then start working out the road network of Budleigh Regis and out and down to the seafront. Then we can start putting buildings in and or even sort of building placement holders, whatever you like to call them, and then we can go from there. So I'm a bit behind, like I say, but you know, that's just the way of things. And in the meantime, I have been doing some thinking about my point motor situation, because there is no way that I can afford or justify using the DCC Concepts digital point motors at like 250 odd quid a box, maybe a bit less than that, but you know, roughly around there, because there's quite a few points on the whole layout. So after speaking to Ian's Engage, hi Ian, hope you're okay, I was going down the Mega Points route, but they've just brought out a new system called Mega Points 2, and do you know what, I just want something simple, and although that is reasonably simple, it was a bit more than what I really wanted. So you know, in the back of my mind for some time, I've been looking at the Gauge Master PM2 seat motors, and in there you'll see a whole load of point motors, and there's a couple of capacitor discharge units in there, CDUs, which will run 6 points each. And basically what I'm doing is running a separate bus for them, and that will come off of the Gauge Master wall mounted power socket, and that comes with all the gubbins that I need to get that all connected up. I'm going to make up some little boards where we've got the switches, and I've got a load of chock blocks there for when I come to daisy chain some of the things. I sound like I know what I'm doing, but I'm subject to change as we go along. So I haven't been completely idle, but there was probably 4, 5, 6 days where I just didn't do anything, you know, in terms of model railways. So that's where we're at with that. Okay, so one other thing that I wanted to share with you is that I've had some backboards made, or say made. I had a couple of sheets of 8x4 hardboard. I've had them cut up into lengths like that, and I've painted them blue. So again, haven't been completely idle, and I've got to get these on the layout before I can really do anything else, because otherwise we're going to be in all sorts of trouble. So that will probably be my very next job, which I won't be able to do for a while, but we'll get that started next week. Right, so a couple of other things that have turned up, a couple of interesting things. I've got some more brick. I'm not quite sure whether you can see that well. Obviously it's in white. They do it actually in red sheets as well. That's English Bond. And I went ahead and bought some slate sheeting for roofing, which, you know, it'd be interesting to see how that turns out. There's a list. The 2mm scale, they do quite a reasonable selection, and it is just that top part there. And Southeastern Finecast have been taken over, I understand, by Squires Models in Budleigh Regis. And hello Chris in Budleigh Regis, I hope you're well. But yeah, I got that from there. I phoned up Squires and just ordered it over the phone, because I haven't got an online ordering system yet, but I think they're working on that. But that looks pretty good. I like their brickwork a little bit more than some of the others that do it. So there's not a lot of difference, to be fair, but I just like it. There's a little bit more choice, I think. Okay, so something else that's very interesting that I thought I'd try. I bought this kit from Scale Scenes a while back, the terraced houses kit, and a little company called Christendon Models. Let me see if I can get that up there for you. Christendon Models, there it is. They produce, or they've started producing, laser cut pieces for the Scalcenes kits. Now that saves you lots and lots of cutting out, and I thought, well, you know, and I don't mind doing the cutting out, but it does save a lot of time. All you've got to do is actually purchase this kit from Scalcenes, and then you're allowed to order this laser cut stuff. So all you do is overlay it with the brick textures and all the different textures that they produce for the kit, and I'm looking forward to having a go at them, but it will be a little while down the road yet. But yeah, I've got 3 packs of them, so that should be 9 houses in theory, as long as I don't mess it up. But yeah, so there we go. So there's, although not much has happened, a lot has turned up. So I think we're going to give the wallet a bit of a rest for the rest of the month. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. There probably won't be much more to do with the model railway now. I might include a part where I fit a back seam, and then we might do a little bit of a running session this month. So we'll take that from there. Okay, so we'll see how we go. See you in the next week. Okay, so we have a new addition to the layout, which are these Rapido Trains Conflat P wagons, and I bought a triple pack with some Christmas money that I had. Sadly, I did buy the Class 28, and that is now winging its way back to Rapido Trains, as there was a fault with it, as there has been with a lot of them. So they've been very good, and they've said send it straight back and we'll repair it or replace it, depending on what they needed to do. I got it and it worked going one way, but it wouldn't work in the other direction, so it's gone back, sadly. But anyway, this afternoon, just to finish up the video this week, I've just got it paired up with the Class 33, so hopefully we can give you a few nice little shots of that running round. They're beautiful wagons, they're quite heavy. They actually come off of the, I don't know what you would call them, I suppose they're conflats really, but they come off, the boxes come off, and it's the weight that's in the boxes. So what we'll do, we'll get that off and running, and then we'll join you again in a minute and give you a few shots of it going round. Class 31 has now taken over duties on the conflat P's, and the addition of British Railways Toad on the back. Right, so I think we'll close it up there for this episode. As the trains pass on the bridges. Thanks to all the new subscribers and welcome. Thanks everybody for all the support as usual. Speak to you all soon. Cheers for now.